All the Feelings presents
Adulting.
This episode,
Parents.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to All the Feelings. That's what we're doing today. It's the All the Feelings podcast, adulting. I'm Pete Wright, and that is the handsomest of most handsome, my partner in handsome, Tommy Metz III. Hello,
Oh my
Tom.
goodness. Thank you, Pete. Did we both get haircuts? I know I got a haircut.
It just,
You're
I mean,
looking
we're,
built for speed.
thanks. I do love Brad Pitt's haircut in F1. That's one of the things you're going to notice when you see F1. No, this isn't a podcast about F1, but Brad Pitt and I have the same haircut.
Was that planned? Or did you just
somehow looks better. His
did you
is
just
somehow
say, give me that Fin One Pit?
I didn't. And in fact, my wife and I are sitting in the theater looking at each other, and she says, and I'm lying to you. I looked at her and I said, I think I have Brad Pitt's haircut. And she said, yeah, maybe.
Sure. I was about to compare you to Brad Pitt.
How about we just watch the movie? What do you say? Shh.
Yeah.
No talking. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think this is, Tiger King? Anyway, so we are here. What are we talking about today, Tom?
Well, it's episode 9, and kind of like how the first anniversary is wood, second anniversary is paper. I don't know what the things are. The 9th episode, we thought we were talking about living and growing and adulting with our aging parents, that our parents who were adults before we were and set the model, and the lie that is adulting. That they have everything figured out, and then it turns out that maybe they don't. Just talking about that's some whatever topics that you and I picked separately about parents and the parental versions of ourselves and the parents that we're turning into. So would you like to start? Because per usual, I have no idea and very little interest. No, enormous interest. But no idea of what you're talking about. So if you want to subset away, let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Subset 1.
Suitors.
Tom, I worked really hard on figuring out what to talk about because I have a lot of angles that I could approach for this one. Which
parents is a big one.
Parents is a big one, especially right now because, I've got my mom. She's living alone in a different city, in a different state, very far away, impractically far away for the day-to-day kind of support that I would love to give her. The problem is that she's still very able, right? She is capable and strong, and she does her own thing. That's a problem because it gives me this false sense of confidence that she's doing fine.
I see.
Right? When what I know is things can strike at any time. Yep. Right.
Sure.
I've seen Final Destination. Things happen. And so I first thought, maybe I need to talk about helping my old mom, oldish. She's old. She's my older. I don't know if she's ever going to listen to this. I don't want to just call her old.
Sure.
My
Fogalicious.
My mom, I'll just call her mom.
That's good.
Deal with the things that she's dealing with, like help her deal with money, finances. We talked a lot about that stuff, Mom and I, and we've talked about, things that she's doing to the house, projects she's doing to the house, things I wish I could be there for. We've talked about things where she just talks to people and they dismiss her because she's old and she's a woman and she needs a male voice to help her get through some things, which sucks. It sucks on it really is. It's a huge drag. And then I realized that the thing that was happening right before my eyes that I did not expect was that Mom was fielding inquiries from suitors.
Wow. Wait, where is her living situation again? Remind me. In her own house, in a community?
She's in her own house, in a neighborhood, an old neighborhood in Colorado Springs, and it's a delightful, very well manicured home, and it's
these
wonderful.
Are neighborhood suitors?
It is such a wide variety. Now, let me say this objectively, not as her son. If I were a septuagenarian, octogenarian widower, I would look at my mom and say, this is going to sound way Trumpy. I don't intend it to be this, but my mom's adorable. Like, she's a catch. And she's got her stuff together. Weird dietary stuff. Like, she's got celiac disease, so there's not a lot she can eat. And so she lives in a pretty sterile environment, culinarily speaking. She's very creative. But she's a catch. And I think...
Wait, real quick. What was the Trumpian part of that? Is he always complimenting his mother?
This is the thing where he wanted to hook up with his daughter. You don't remember that?
You're doing the other way around. Yes,
I'm doing the inverse. Yeah.
I get
this
it.
is the Oedipal Trump. That's what we're doing right now, which is very uncomfortable. But I have to say, like, if I were an octogenarian, I would say, oh, mom's kind of a catch. Like, wink.
That's nice.
Okay, so let's put that away. Pretend that didn't happen.
Awooga.
So
tongue rolls out of your mouth.
The stories that I'm getting from my mom are legion, but from the people who are trying to set her up with somebody. And I think this comes from like friends in the neighborhood who are like, well, Debbie and Lloyd used to always come to stuff. Now it's just Debbie and it's sort of sad. Maybe we should set her up so that she can have a buddy.
Okay.
Those haven't gone well at all. But this was the thing that I marvel at, Tom. And I want you to think about this from your perspective as I tell you, because there is a chance, probably not a very good one because we're men, but there's a chance that this could happen to us one day. Mom has been getting...
You're going to set me up with your mom? Am I reading this the way that I hope I'm reading this? It could happen one day.
Let me just assure you, Mom will never listen to this episode, and that's a relief.
It will not come out.
It will.
Okay, go ahead.
She's been fielding not one, not two, but multiple calls from suitors with whom she was in class in elementary school, in middle school.
Wow.
She hasn't seen them for 60 years.
Are they all still
and they're
in the same
calling
town?
out of the woodwork? No. They're driving to see her. They get word from the grapevine, I guess, that it's been a couple of years. And here's my observation. Men, old men are generally desperate after their wives pass, right? It's not great. And also, because women tend to live longer, it's anomalous, right?
Sure.
I mean, the odds are that I'm going to go before Kira. And I just know that. And what is she going to do? Well, she'll probably start getting hit up from other 6th and 7th grade classmates, because that's apparently what happens. And they come from her hometown. They drive, they fly, they come visit, they call all the time. And we're just sort of navigating the fact that this is our new reality, that there is now romance where there once was my dad.
Right. How is she?
That's horrible, because my dad was actually a very romantic guy. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
No, I get it.
But
they were together for a long time. Yeah.
Really long time.
Is she, from what you can tell, is she excited about it? Is she still navigating it? Is she more looking for just a lowercase f friend? Like, how is she? I guess maybe I'm asking, was she ready for this?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because she saw herself as like what are the animals that mate for life? Like penguins?
Yeah,
she
lobsters.
was a penguin. Yeah. Lobster, she was a lobster for sure. And so there was a point where she was just looking for like, hey, I really just want somebody to go to a movie with, right? I want somebody to talk about stuff with. And then she has been sort of weeding out. I mean, there's a gentleman, a retired doctor, who keeps riding his bike past my mom's house, asking to borrow tools, fertilizer stuff, tools. Yep. He just keeps coming by, and it feels like he's like, my mom and this gentleman are 16 years old, and they're just navigating life in the neighborhood in 1950. And it's amazing to watch this happen, to watch young love affect old people.
Huh?
And I had no idea.
There's something very sweet about that. Of course.
There's something very, very sweet about that. And I will say she's not interested in this particular suitor, but he does keep coming by.
Okay.
But the one that this is when I realized this was something more than just anomalous. I was talking to her the other day about one gentleman who was not coming to visit because he had to go have his knee replaced or something. And it's just the things that get in the way of dating when you're 80. So the list is long.
Yeah. Brain dusting.
Yeah, right. He
What
couldn't.
if you have to have?
He couldn't come. But I said, so you're talking to him like on the phone, like every day? And she said, oh, like 3 times a day.
Wow.
Yeah. This is like some serious phone time. And, it feels sort of antique because this is what they would have done as kids, is talk on the phone. They don't FaceTime. They don't there's none of the modern trappings. In many ways, they're very much like you. And, but not like modern dating, right?
Right.
There's no apps, there's no nothing. It's just like, here's the phone. And I kind of visualize, even though my mom has cordless phones, I kind of visualize her twirling the cord, right? You can see it.
Of course. Absolutely.
So I am delighted. But the issues that come up for me are several. One, which I think is pretty natural, is Mom and I have been going through this whole march of grief for, several years now together. Yeah. And there is some role confusion, right? She doesn't talk to me 3 times a day. She's like, what am I supposed to do in this relationship? Do I step back? Do I lean in? It's no longer just my mom and me kind of trying to figure out what the new world looks like. But now it's my mom, a potential partner, and me. And that shifts the old parent-child dynamic in a way that is new and awkward. And
sure.
And I will say, it's not that I'm not supportive of it. I'm very supportive of it, right? We need to find what we need and take it.
What is, just so I can make sure I understand the specificity of it, what is awkward about it? I have assumptions, but what's the most awkward thing, or the thing that keeps threatening to be awkward about the situation?
Well, it starts with, I don't know this person, right?
Okay.
I've never met them. And Mom hasn't seen them since they were, 13?
Yeah.
Right. They haven't been in the same room together. Maybe they have. I don't know. But just in happenstances, Mom lived there for a long time. I don't know if they ever connected as adults, but I don't know them. I've never seen them, and I've never met them. And there is something sort of
protective,
old-fashioned, protective that comes up. That's like, what, do I need to? What is my role here? Do I have to vet this person? Should I meet them?
You're
right?
the one that's
roles.
Like, you treat her
totally
right.
reversed.
What are your intentions? Yeah. Make sure she's home by 8.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
I get it. Okay.
Can you drive at night? Do you need cataract surgery? Like, what are the things I need to ask?
Yeah.
What comes with that is that sort of, we live in this era of required emotional skepticism because we know how easy it is to exploit older people. And should I have a natural fear of exploitation? Is this new potential partner genuine, or just after, Mom's, I don't know,
last
Social
remaining
Security
gun
payments? Yeah,
okay.
right. Last remaining gun. Financial vulnerability is real and scary. And
didn't even think about that. But of course, like, are you a Nigerian prince? Do you know any Nigerian princes? Okay,
exactly.
That's a good point.
And of course, on top of the surprise and the guilt and the natural kind of protectiveness, there is my support of any relationship is that health and happiness considerations, like loneliness, is a real health risk for older people living alone. And I think new relationships are a balm for better or worse. And I think that could be really, really good for Mom. But you can see, like, I'm tied up in a lot of those weird things, watching, like, I am now, I'm kind of putting myself in a position of should I be a gatekeeper
Right.
for this relationship. You were going to say something earlier.
Well, I was just, when you said loneliness is a balm, it's also probably great for cognitive
Yes.
ability. Keeping
Yeah,
you
for
sharp,
sure.
keeping you not just sort of having a TV on in the background all the time,
Yeah. Right.
keeping you engaged. How is she handling your new role, or you grappling with your role?
I think
Are you
she
picking up on awkwardness from her, I guess is the
no, it's actually really funny because I think she feels it's so awkward for her in its own way
okay.
that we're kind of in this space of it's okay for this to be weird, and to imagine that my dad is somewhere jealous of this, when of course that's nonsense, but that's
Right.
the anthropomorphization of memory.
Yeah.
And when you're living through life changes that you thought were permanent and are not, we just have both acknowledged that this is going to be weird. It's going to feel weird. It's going to sound weird. It's going to
Okay.
look weird. It's going to smell weird, and we'll get to the other side of it.
Okay.
And I think she's, we're both kind of encouraging each other to be curious and not confrontational, right? Like to talk about, like, what do you like about the relationship that you're having? What are you curious about? What are you provoked positively about, rather than lean into the darker assumptions of accusation? Like, are you sure he's not out to get something? Are you sure he's not taking advantage somehow? Which allows us to
strong darkness of, are you disrespecting the memory of your husband, my father?
Yeah.
Which is more the sitcom or hour-long special issue that would come
100%.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
But that's wonderful that you see that you're open to it, and that you're both pretending that you're not pretending that it's not awkward. I think that's as important as also being open to it, of like, open and weirded out. And that's a part of it. That's the adulting of it. Otherwise, you'd just be stamping your foot and we'd know you weren't adulting yet.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, and I'm trying to really lean into these feelings of discomfort, and there are so many feelings of discomfort.
You're doing fine.
So many. And figuring out, what are the boundaries? Like, I don't know until I hear her say something that maybe there was a boundary of something I don't need to hear about.
That was one step more than you needed to know. Yep.
Yeah.
Do you want me to suggest some? Just kidding. I don't want to make that list.
I would very much like you not to do that. So this is kind of the space where I'm living right now, which is watching my widow mother try to figure out what it's like to date in 2025, and to do so from a distance. And it turns out that is, so far, both easier and harder than you would expect. And I find, right. And so we'll see what happens when they actually get together in physical, in meat space, so to speak.
So they haven't
right
yet.
now.
This is just talk.
Haven't yet.
But three times a day.
It's been for months. And the only reason he's not here, he's not in visiting, is because he had the surgery that he had to do, and so we're waiting for him to be travel ready. But he's coming. Wow. He's coming.
And do you know what they want to do? Like, is it just go down to the chocolate shop? Does he have a jalopy?
I imagine there will be some chocolate shopping. I imagine there will be some sort of touristy stuff that goes on. My mom has already said he's not staying here. He's not invited. He's getting a hotel. And he already said, I'm not staying there. I'll get a hotel. He's a real gentleman, right? Wow. Which is awesome.
Yep.
And so we'll see. We'll see. This whole season has had an arc of me dealing and addressing things with my mom. And so maybe nobody's interested in this, but I'll tell you, if you haven't faced this particular thing, and I know many people have kids of divorced parents, there's a real confusion that happens when one of your parents dies and that role becomes replaced, because there was never any angst that you never got to see a relationship be broken up. In my head, in my heart, I should say, my parents are still very much married. And to be able to have that conversation with mom and say, look, I know you're technically not married because he died. That's easy to say and hard to believe. And until you see her out starting to date again, starting to have conversations about potential partners in a way that,
it's a real move forward.
It's a move forward. That's adulting for me this week.
That's quite adulting, and one that I should see coming, but that has not been on my radar.
Yeah.
And how do we best vet? I'm going to call him Arthur. I've decided his name is Arthur.
Great.
What if Arthur turns out to be like a bad boy? What do we do? What if he's like a greaser? What if he's out there?
He is a greaser?
What if he's like the aforementioned cigarettes up in the t-shirt thing?
Yeah.
What if he's out there? What if he hurt his kneecap racing people for pink slips? We don't know. We don't know what this Arthur is up to.
God, you're absolutely right. They call him street art. That's his street name. Street art. Yeah.
We thought we were talking about graffiti, but no, it's street art.
It's street art. Yeah, because he runs the street. He just does so very slowly because, again, aforementioned bum knee.
Right.
He's doing bad boy stuff, but he's not doing it very fast.
So we'll see him coming.
At least we see him
from
coming.
a long way off.
Yeah.
All right, Arthur. We got our eyes on you. I remember one year, my mom took me school shopping. It was me, my brother, my mom, my pop, and my little sister all hopped in the car, and we headed downtown to the Gallery Mall. My mom started bugging with the clothes she chose. I didn't say nothing at first. I just turned up my nose. She said,
"What's wrong? This shirt cost $20.
I said, "Mom, this shirt is plaid with a butterfly collar."
F. Prince. Let me tell you the true story of Britain's biggest diamond heist. Now, you're probably imagining high-tech gadgets, sleek suits, someone named Sebastian who sprints across rooftops with a bag of rubies. No. The Hatton Garden heist was pulled off by, wait for it, a group of elderly men with bad knees, prosthetic hips, and a shared love of absolutely not retiring. This was not Ocean's 11. This was more like Osteoporosis 8. Leading the operation, 76-year-old Brian Reeder. Yes, Reeder, as in Reed's AARP magazine. He and his crew of 6 other senior citizens broke into the safe deposit facility in London over Easter weekend 2015 and stole 14 million pounds worth of cash, gold, and diamonds. That is not a typo. 14 million pounds. And they did it the old-fashioned way, with a drill the size of a toddler and the kind of patience you only develop after 40 years of waiting for your spouse to finish browsing at HomeGoods. They disabled the alarm system, dropped down an elevator shaft, and drilled through half-meter-thick wall, which took them days. And in a detail that would be too on the nose for fiction, one of them took a nap in the middle of the job because, quote, his legs got tired. I mean, right? Same. But here's the twist. They nearly got away with it. Nearly. Until one of them left the van's GPS on. They were caught on security footage returning to the scene in what I can only describe as the most suspiciously slow group strut in criminal history, like Reservoir Dogs if they all needed to pee halfway through the walk. And the most unbelievable part, this has been made into a movie, not once, not twice, but 3 times. That's right. The cinematic industrial complex watched this group of grandpas trip over security camera and said, "Greenlight it. Again. People need this." And that's why we make this show, not to help you rob a diamond vault, please don't do that, but to capture the messy, beautiful, often absurd ways aging keeps surprising us. And Feeling Friends are the people that make that possible. You help us tell these stories, the funny ones, the sad ones, the ones where your dad FaceTimes you from a recliner he can't figure out how to recline and puts the camera in his ear. All of it. So if you want more of this show, more bonus episodes, early access, a nice ad-free feed delivered straight to your ears, become a Feeling Friend. Just $35 a year, $25 recurring. That's less than a meal at a mid-tier family buffet. And I promise there is a lot less drilling. Visit allthefeelings.fun to get started today. And now, back to the show.
Subset 2.
Patience.
Pete.
Oh, Tom.
Hi.
I thought you were about to just fall off the ball right now. That was a scary way to come into this segment.
That happened recently when we were playing poker. I play poker every other Wednesday or so on Zoom, and I was trying to do a bit, and I bounced so high on my ball, I fell over and took most of my computer with me. And my friends were concerned, and I just went to bed. Okay, Pete, do you know my feelings? And I'm pretty sure you do. And this is going to be one of those classic Tom, what's he talking about? Oh, it did have a point. Do you know my feelings about amusement parks?
I do. You are a fan.
I'm a huge amusement head. Yes, we have talked about it good. I love them. I love pageantry and theatrics and attention to detail, rides, suspension of disbelief, the entire thing. I'm not even put off by crowds. I love it. But there was one time I remember in particular, and it's probably happened more than once, that I went to an amusement park and it nearly drove me insane. That's right, Pete. This tale is relatively harrowing.
It's relatively okay.
Yeah,
good.
It's only harrowing.
On it.
It's only harrowing because I'm an idiot. It wasn't the high prices and it wasn't the long lines. It was because of the family I went with. Now, I know we're talking about aging parents. This is not my family. This was the family of a friend of mine, and they very sweetly had said, you're an amusement park head. This is when I was a teenager. Why don't you come with us? We know that you would love this. And what drove me insane was two things. Number one, how incredibly long it took for them to get their act together and leave the car and plod across the parking lot. When you can already hear the frivolity, the excitement, the excited screams, the rides, all of that stuff happening just on the other side. And the mom gets 3/4 of the way across the parking lot and is like, oops, I forgot my blank, my sun hat. And we have to sit there in the 90-degree weather while she goes all the way back. I felt like I was jumping out of my skin because I was so excited. I want to run onto the rides.
Yes.
Okay.
First, was this Elitch's?
Maybe it was Denver, Colorado's Elitch's. I actually don't remember which one this was. It was either Elitch's or Ocean City, Maryland, where it's not as much of an amusement park, but a boardwalk of rides.
Yes. Right.
It's one of those two, because we used to go to those every summer.
Because the word picture you were painting, I could feel my experience at Elitch's because, we grew up in the area and we went to Elitch's all the time. And if it doesn't end in a trip to Casa Bonita, you did it wrong, but that's okay. This is your story.
We'll do that to the side. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the first thing that drove me insane. And I'm trying, but I'm a guest. So I'm trying to be very nice and very, I'm not going to use the word, and just very sweet. And then we get into the park. It's probably around 11:30, because, again, it took us 3 hours to get across the parking lot. What's the first ride that they want to do, Pete? The toilet ride. Everyone has to use the restroom but me. Everyone has to take a porcelain ride on that roller coaster, and that just takes 19 hours because I'm with my friend and then his sister and his little brother and mother and father. And I didn't have to go to the restroom because I went in the car because I want to get on these rides. And then finally it's time for our first activity. And what do you think?
It's 4 o'clock.
No. Yeah. They pick lunch, Pete. We
Oh my
just got
God.
into the park and they want not a churro break, a full-on order at a counter, get a little piece of paper with a number, and just sit down and lunch. And I am
Wait,
losing my mind.
because that's the worst thing you can do at an amusement park. You eat after you've done the rides. People
Or
know this
never.
is
Or
right.
you
If you're
just
going
don't
to eat, this is not when you eat.
No, overpriced, terrible food. And instead of doing rides, there are so many rides and fun all around me, and they want to stop and get hot sandwiches. I've never forgotten the feeling of, is it champing at the bit or chomping at the bit? I think it's champing.
It might be
CHAMP.
champing. Okay.
Okay, whatever horses do. Feeling so restrained that all I wanted to do was bolt across the park, or even wog across the park, as is my want, as I'm so prone to do.
Park log.
Uncle Pete, why am I bringing this up? Especially because it has nothing to do with my family. Because would it surprise you to know that I've started feeling that way more and more often in the last about 2 years when I'm engaged in a certain activity?
Well,
Would it surprise you? Feeling that antsy jumping out of my skin feeling.
Yes. I have a
And
feeling I know where this is going.
Yeah. It's when I'm visiting or traveling with my parents.
Yeah.
And it's because they are older now, as aging does. It's really hand in hand. And they have understandably started slowing down quite a bit. They're both healthy and very mobile.
Mhm.
Like they are not hobblers, but everything has downshifted quite a bit.
And you are, I'm just looking at you. You are a specimen at his peak.
I don't know what Aqualine means, but like I am ready to slice through the water. I am ready to.
Yes.
I run between the raindrops.
Yeah.
I have to think
Right.
about things before I say them. Yes, I'm built for speed. Everyone that
Every
looks at me,
wog
they're
has
like
a racing line. That's what we're talking about.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly right. The world drafts behind me. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't want to keep feeling this way. And so I started to really pay attention. And what I started to do was try to re-embrace, and here's the word of the day. Do you have a guess what the word is? Starts with a P, ends with a shunts.
Oh, is it patience?
It's patience.
Earlier you said I'm not going to use the word, and I thought then
That's right.
it was racist, but now I get it.
I'm not gonna use the slur for this. That's just for the feeling friends. You gotta get on the live stream, people. At some point I realized, because I wanted this to be about me, about them. Meaning I was looking at them being like, they're slowing down. And instead I wanted to change my perspective and be like, well, what am I going through?
Yeah.
What's my hurry about? And I realized I was starting to at some point I started to really overvalue speed and efficiency. Things getting done really quickly was important, and I'd look down on people moving at a slower pace. But now, being with my parents, we're still traveling. We're seeing each other multiple times a year. We were just in San Francisco together for a wonderful trip, about a week long. And it's really helped me learn to slow down and realize that there's no need to go quickly. And if I ever start to get that antsy feeling, there are a couple things that I do. Now, before I go into what I do, have you felt this way with certain family members?
Well, yes. And I want to go back because I don't think we have fully litigated your experience at the park, because I think now that we know the secret word is patience.
Yes.
This is the problem that I run into when I start feeling antsy.
Okay.
Because you just now asked the question rhetorically, which I will take up. What am I in such a hurry about? When you're at the amusement park and you've had the legendary bathroom break and then the legendary hot sandwich lunch, you actually are on the clock, right?
Yeah.
The park will close, and now you're at peak heat. So what's your hurry about? Your hurry is about doing what you're there to do.
Correct.
And that's when I get extremely flustered. That's when I, like you say, crawling out of your skin. That's it. The reason is not because I'm not able to stop and say, you know what? I'm okay moving at the pace of life. I'm okay just doing my thing with these people who are lovely and offered to bring me with them. Even now, as a middle-aged guy, we're there for a reason. If we're not doing that thing, I'm on edge.
I appreciate you bringing it back up, because what I didn't say when I transferred or when I transitioned into the second part is that was a time when I felt appropriately impatient.
Okay, good.
Like, I agree that time in amusement parks, if you're a big fan of them, is finite.
Yes.
And if it took us that long
100%.
to get into the park, it's going to take us that long to get out of the park. And so
Yes.
we've got to be on the clock. But I brought that feeling incorrectly over to other situations.
Okay.
Going to
it
the
spread
grocery
like a
store.
virus.
Yes. Like going to the grocery
yeah.
store with my parents, navigating an airport, things like that, where time is fine. All time is finite, Pete. Write that down. But not in the same way, that there's not like, it's more situations of, what am I in such a hurry for? At
Yeah.
Ralph's, at King Supers. There's just
Wait a
not
minute,
a
where do
hurry.
you shop again? Anyway.
There's going to be
Totally
a
get it.
segment on it later. Yeah. So, like, what am I? And so this is what I am doing. Is
Yeah.
when I'm with them, and I'm trying to now do it more often, not when I'm with them, but just in life, that I'm readjusting. I'm downshifting myself and my own expectations, and just trying to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with tolerate, and then to
Yes.
enjoy the slower speed. I know this gets very close to, hey, everything's beautiful, smell the flowers, man. And I'm not that. But just
Yeah.
I live, we've talked about the beat back in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is such a driving culture, and there's no patience for anyone, anytime. And I'm just trying to remember more and more often, especially with my parents. I'm finding it very valuable. What are you in such a hurry for?
Yeah.
To get home?
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing fine.
Yeah.
People
for the next
are-
opportunity to sit down, like
Right.
what's
People
the
are interesting
rush?
to look at. And so when you're behind someone in a long line, something like that, I'm just trying to kind of embrace that. And I'm very thankful for my parents about that, because they're not dawdling.
Mhm.
They're going their speed.
Mhm.
And so it helps me to go their speed too, because otherwise I'm driving everyone insane, most importantly myself. So selfishly,
Right.
I'm using their aging process to make myself happier and calmer, which I'm really enjoying.
There's an interesting thing going on here. Well, you know how they talk about, especially boys, when growing up, your brain doesn't fully cook until about 25, right? And so
It's
there's
really
a lot
late.
of, it's really that late. It is wild that
Oof.
executive functioning doesn't really kick in until the mid-20s. So you can make very stupid decisions that are largely out of your better control because you're not fully baked yet.
Yeah.
Until you're 25. But I think we have, especially in the West, a sort of hustle culture that we're still fighting against. And thankfully, I think, millennials, Gen Z, like there are sort of adapting in new and interesting ways that
They're taking
might
it back a bit.
Yeah, might be taking that back a bit. But one of the things that you and I have to sort of grow out of and have to reprogram, I think, is because we've reached another developmental stage where executive functioning allows us to look at ourselves in a way that maybe we missed in our 30s, in our early 40s, that says, hey, I know how to slow down, and I know how to take care of myself as a function of taking care of others. And that's a huge gift, I think, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge gift of transference that I don't know how capable we are of doing it when we're younger.
Because what is added? I feel like you said it, but I got a little bit. Is it just,
Well,
is it a better
I-
understanding, reflection?
Yeah.
All of
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a physiological thing. Maybe it's something I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I know that the brain has developmental stages throughout
Sure.
the entirety of your life. And some of those are additive and some of those are declines. And at some point in middle age, there are changes to how the brain functions. And my hypothesis is that one of the gifts that comes from those changes it happens to be maybe a little bit of patience, a little bit of an ability through
Right.
empathy to see in our older parents what they need and be able to mirror that effectively. Right.
Right.
And isn't that some of what we're trying to do, is to be present in a way that is grateful, graceful, and generous of our time. And being generous of our time means slowing down
Right.
and giving that time to the person you want to give it to.
You're right. And you brought up millennials, whoever it was, sort of taking things back, not taking things as they have been. There's also a wonderfully selfish part of it, but it's leading to better things in that through the What's That Smell days, this entire podcast has partly been about not me and you not being comfortable anymore, just sitting and marinating in our anxiety.
Right.
Taking it out into the light, looking at it, and hopefully looking at it and laughing about it with other people, when for a long time it was like, this is just how it is. This is how I feel from now on. And so instead, I think also it's that ability to, I used to be so against the phrase mindfulness, and now I feel like I use it every episode. I used to think that was woo-woo, was mindfulness. But no, just, I mean, the fact of like, wait, how are you feeling right now? Oh, you're jumping out of your skin. Why?
Yeah.
Stop. Think about it instead of just hustling parents along or trying to. Another thing that I do, which is nice, is okay, now I'm just officially annoying, but I've been practicing patience by practicing gratitude, in that being with my parents, I will now put my back up and be in defense of my parents. That for a while, when you're growing up, you're embarrassed by the speed that they're going. You feel you're accidentally more worried about the people behind them in traffic or behind them in the grocery store. And now it's like, no, I don't know you, lady. These are my people. And we're going to take as long as we need. I'm not going to let them just sort of like take a nap in the middle of the produce aisle.
Right.
But
we'll move them along gently. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll move them to the side and stuff. I'm not saying that it's us and no one else, but remembering I'm with these people. If it's taking my dad kind of a long time to get his seatbelt on, that's allowed. We're all going to get to where we're going. And why are you in such a hurry, weirdo? You're not going to an amusement park. You're 50.
Yeah, because you know what? My dad helped me with the Pinewood Derby more times than I care to count, right? I can at least help him
return
pick out
the
a cucumber in peace.
Yeah. What do you have any physical? I just have two, but I wanted to ask, do you have any physical things when you need? Because again, it is a process for me. Sometimes I will notice, sometimes I notice I'm anxious. I got to look at it. I am feeling antsy. I need to downshift, because that's the old me doing that. Yeah. I have two things that I do, and I wanted to ask if you have ones. One of the ones that helps me readjust is 2 to 3 deep breaths, just to recenter myself. And the other one is power poses were like disproven, right? Those power poses got really hot in a TED Talk at one point, where you do like a victorious pose and then all of a sudden your cortisol lowers, and then doctors were like, that's not true. But have they done that?
And same thing with like, can you, if you, that it has been done. And what's really, there is a great interview on a podcast that I will see if I can dig up, because it talks about exactly why it was, quote, debunked. The fact that it's not that it was specifically debunked about smiling leads to happiness, but what they learned by way of debunking is actually incredibly eye-opening about how physiology is integrated with behavior and with emotion. And it turns out it's just a tool that we have not yet used enough. And once you understand it, you actually can, it can work, but not the way you think. This sounds like a BuzzFeed article.
Well, the reason that I brought it up is because power poses never work for me. Smiling 100% does.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a placebo effect, maybe like this. But when I do take a couple deep breaths and smile, it's like, I just keep using the same word, but it really feels like a downshift. It's just like, okay, this is the new speed I'm at, and I just feel better. So so smiling and deep breaths are for me. Do you have anything else? I mean, I assume,
I'll tell you, I of course have a technological solution. I have the mindfulness app on my watch.
Okay.
And if I need a downshift, sometimes I'll do a 2-minute sort of guided meditation on the watch, and I'll just go sit in a bathroom stall and just do it in quiet for 2 minutes and close my eyes, and don't really take a deep breath, but close my eyes and have some moments of silence. And it vibrates as you're supposed to be breathing. So it kind of guides you with these haptics on how to slow down. It's really, it's lovely. I really love it. And I've got the Vision Pro too. And when I really am working on them here, I'll put the Vision Pro on because the mindfulness app creates a visual space where you no longer are looking at the world around you. You're in a completely dark environment with these beautiful blue kind of shards, glass feathers that are sort of floating with you, and they pulse with your breath. It can sense when you're breathing in and out, and the things will move towards you and then away as you exhale. And I find that enormously settling when I do that. Yeah.
Me just staggering down the aisle at the grocery store,
at Ralph's,
bumping into things at Ralph's. Excuse me, more patience, please. And I'm just knocking candy after candy over.
Yeah.
Well, I have one very last thing because I love to wrap it up as cheesily as possible. But I wanted to tie a bow on the thing. This is very cheesy, but I think it's an important revelation that I had when I was thinking about all this. When I move slower, I remember that my parents aren't keeping me from getting, quote, on the ride. When we're together, in a way, my parents are the ride. Mm-hmm. They're the reason for being together. They're the important thing in the moment. Any sight we'll see when we're sightseeing on a tour isn't as important as just spending time with them. So it's maybe not always the best or the most exciting ride, but it's the ride that I want to be on. Yeah. And so there's no reason to hurry. I'm with the ride that I want to be on.
Yeah. And the point is, you've got a bunch of years left to do solo rides all you want.
Single rider lines? Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't be lonely once. And the cat's in the cradle and the zoo.
My son, 5 years old, bringing comedy. Every time I look at you, I think, man, a little me. Just like me. Wait and see. Gonna be tall. Makes me laugh because you got your dad's ears and all. Sometimes I wonder, what you gonna be? A general? A doctor? Maybe an MC? Haha! I want to kiss you all the time. But I will test that butt when you cut out a line. True that.
W. Smith.
One, two, three, four. I hate the way they always kiss in the kitchen, acting like they're still just 21. They always seem to go for walks on Sundays and doing things they did when they were young. So I'll ask when I go home, but maybe the whole point's not to know what's the secret to keeping the love alive. What's the secret to keeping the love alive for so long?
Thank you all so much for joining us for this episode. This week's tune is My Parents' Love Song by Luke Kelly.
Oh, Luke.
Oh, I love it so much. Coming up next week, Tom, what are we doing next week?
Next week, we have another twofer. It's things that come for us at night. I'm going to be talking about sleep, and you'll be talking about
aches and pains.
It's an all physical episode, so curl up and get ready. Until then, I'm Tommy Metz III.
And I'm Pete Wright. Thanks for downloading. We'll be back next week with all the feelings, adulting.
Maybe the whole point's not to know what's the secret to keeping the love alive. What's the secret to keeping the love alive for so long, and how come And if I give you all the answers, you can't stop taking chances. Oh, my son. Oh, my son. I knew you'd ask when you got old. And I'll be honest, I don't know. What's the secret to keeping love alive? What's the secret to keeping love alive for so long? For so long. And how come you're still in love, Mom? He said, I've seen so much love grow cold. So I'll be honest, I don't know. What's the secret to keeping the love alive? What's the secret to keeping the love alive for so long?
Hey, Tom, I was going to ask you something. This is off the subject. What do you call a doctor who only farts alone?
Oh, I don't like this. What?
A private tutor. I said doctor, didn't I? It's a teacher.
I didn't like it before you messed it up.